So this is definitely a moment that myself and many others have been waiting for a very long time, to finally see Saitama throw down with some of the most powerful characters in the One Punch Man universe, and to have these characters actually realize the potential of Saitama. And we get that in this chapter with finally the true beginning of Saitama versus Tatsumaki, which is an amazing matchup. I love not just their abilities, but just how their personalities clash so badly. And Tatsumaki gets a cover page. And you know what? I'll give it to the Tatsumaki fans this week, because I've been saying for a long time that Fubuki is the best girl. Fubuki is my girl. She's the best girl of the One Punch Man universe. She's had a lot of cover pages lately, so we'll give this one to Tatsumaki. But like I said, I will always choose Fubuki over any look, many things in life require reflection and contemplation, and I'll deal with that on my own time. But until then, let's talk about this chapter. Now, there's not really a whole lot to dissect and analyze about this chapter in particular. Pretty much we are just seeing Saitama versus Tatsumaki, but there are some other things happening here, and I'm going to talk about the fight to an extent. So first, let's talk about the other things that are happening in this chapter. Number one, we get a random family kind of driving through the city, going to an area where they believe that they're going to be safe, and they wound up in the middle of the battle between Saitama and Tatsumaki, basically being used as a weapon, and seeing that pretty much nowhere is safe. And that is, and it is played as a joke, but I also do think it is leading towards bigger things that are happening in the One Punch Man manga, just basically being like, the world is overwhelmed, these devastations happen all the time, monsters continue to attack, and also when you have characters that are this powerful, when they do fight, they're going to cause a lot of devastation. This is one of those like collateral damage kind of things that you see in various, super powered character media that sometimes people choose to address and sometimes they don't. And I kind of like the way that One Punch Man addresses it, like as a joke, but it's also very serious, because where are regular people supposed to go at this point? And to be so excited about these larger than life characters, the kid is like super happy to see Tatsumaki, doesn't even realize the relative danger he's in, and the fact that she's like psychically, telekinetically moving up their car and pushing them out of the way and doing all of these things. It's like they were supposed to be going to a safer location, and apparently that's not what's going to happen. The other thing is that the new villains that were introduced for this arc have escaped, which I assumed was going to happen. It was way too easy for Tatsumaki to just come in and just kind of encapsulate them inside the rock sphere or whatever she did. So obviously they were going to escape, especially if she begins to be distracted by Saitama. They go off and do their own thing. I expected this to happen. It wasn't even really an elaborate escape. Pretty much the entire time they were digging underneath the sphere falls apart and they escaped. The only thing that was a little bit of a surprise to me is I had forgotten, in my mind, I don't know why, I thought that Psychos was also enveloped in the sphere, but she wasn't. You actually see her on the outside of it in this chapter, so I had completely forgotten about that, because when they escaped, I was like, oh shit, they got Psychos. They got the thing they came there for. But then they didn't see her in the car, and I was like, they probably didn't shove her in the trunk. I mean, maybe they shoved her in the trunk, but when I went back and read the chapter over, she's on the outside. So I don't know why I thought that she was also captured with them. So they did escape, but they didn't get what they came for. So you can say it's a bit of a 50-50. It's like, all right, they didn't really do that. But then they're probably going to come back and try to gain access to Psychos again. So where Psychos goes from here, whether she gets taken by Tatsumaki, whether she remains in this facility, which would be a dumb idea. I don't know what's going to happen to her in particular, but they weren't able to get her. So there's that. Also, with the villain with the psychic powers, he's name dropped. He's called Apollo, or at least that's what the translation said. So we at least have a name for him now, which is good, because with my mind, I kept thinking that I was forgetting his name, but it wasn't really revealed until this moment. So his name is Apollo, which the name Apollo comes from Greek mythology, who was a god that was revered in like a lot of different aspects. So maybe that has something to do with his character, or it could just be a cool name. I don't know. But then we get to the battle between these two characters. Saitama still remaining in his Crocs to this day during the fight. Amazing. I can't imagine it provides you that much mobility, but you know what? I got a lot of shit from the Croc wearers the last time. I called out Crocs, all right, and I got the resurgence that I was expecting. I was expecting people, the Croc love. Listen, people that love Crocs are like people that love, I don't know, just what's something that people defend very passionately? I don't even know. I'm just going to say Crocs. The Croc lovers are here to stay, man, and they will let you know that it's the best shoe. I can't imagine that's true. Maybe I should buy some. But we know that Tatsumaki has this temperament, right? And she has this temperament, and she's like, why won't you let go of me? And I love that Saitama's just basically like, I don't want you going around destroying houses again. Like, just calm down. And of course, telling somebody like Tatsumaki, who has probably very high blood pressure, to calm down is just not a good idea. She's very temperamental, which is another reason why I choose Fubuki. Fubuki's a little bit more subdued, okay? And I appreciate that in a woman. Tatsumaki's got that fiery spirit, man, and you know, I can see the value in that as well, so it's all good. So Saitama eventually does let go of her, and she does a couple of things. She does this one like psychic blast with her finger, which doesn't phase Saitama as it wouldn't, and then she begins doing sort of her tornado attacks, her tornado abilities, causing this whirlwind, throwing rocks at him, which he's dodging, one that he kind of like rides on top of, which is really cool. He keeps calling her twerp during the entire fight, and when he thought she was throwing the rock at the people, he did go over there to try to save them, but it was just another distraction that she was doing. But again, she's using sort of the innocent bystanders as part of the fight, which is not something you want as a normal human being just trying to live in the One Punch Man universe. And then at the end of the fight, not the end of the fight, but the end of the chapter, it might be a translation error, but it seems like Tatsumaki is trying to give herself more justification for fighting more seriously against Saitama, because at first it's pretty much just to get him away from her, like, stop holding on to me, like, just get away, just kind of trying to subdue. Basically, they're trying to subdue each other. But it seems as the more irritable that she's getting about the fight itself, she starts mentioning that she doesn't want him around Fubuki. And in a way, it makes sense, because Fubuki was just betrayed by a bunch of people on her bodyguard team. But also, I think it's Tatsumaki trying to give herself more of a reason to fight seriously against Saitama and maybe actually truly take him out. Trying to justify it in some way, trying to give herself some kind of justification for actually, taking out Saitama as opposed to just subduing him. Also, maybe she realizes that she can't subdue him. Maybe she realizes some extent of his power, and that in order to take him down, it's going to require a lot more effort, and she doesn't want to have that that insecurity that she couldn't do it. I mean, she is the number 2 hero that exists, and so what would it mean if she couldn't take out a dude wearing Crocs? I'm sorry, Croc people. I'm sorry. But yeah, and so I think that she's trying to find a way to take the fight more seriously, which is leading into the next chapter. So I can't wait to see where it goes, man. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot to talk about in this chapter, but it was fun. I'm enjoying it. And listen, I'm a conflicted man. All right, I'm a conflicted man. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought about One Punch Man chapter 179 down below in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the review. All comments and interaction will help it be seen in the algorithm better. And if you hate me and you don't like the reviews, then just don't interact with it, because then it gets suppressed, and then that's the best way for you to win. Other than that, guys, I have Patreon, merch store, channel memberships linked down below. Follow me Twitter, Instagram, Discord, all that fun junk. And other than that, we'll talk to you next time.